Word isn't responding again. Thought I'd be
Excellent.
able to. I'm assuming that Sam will join shortly.
Or has he just sent his note taker to?
Maybe. Could have used that for some consortium calls. You guys just chat and I will listen to the recording.
Yes. What's on your mind? Just keep going.
Oh, come on. This is really annoying. I'll give it another couple of minutes and then prompt him. It might be the same problem that I have with Zoom, where it doesn't notify you and then it takes ages to get into the actual system. Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Sam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, cool, magic. Sorry, I hate Teams. Just try to get it all online. Sorry, it took me a couple of minutes. Apologies.
I just said to Craig, I think you might be having the same problem that I have when I try and join Zoom.
Yeah, this is the exact reason why we don't use Teams as a company, so we switched to Zoom. But then everyone else has problems going to Zoom, and yeah, like it's just I don't know why every computer is just different for some bizarre reason. But
Yeah.
we're here. That's the main thing.
For sure. So, what I'll do is get Natasha to walk you through it, because she spent most of the time making notes on this, as long as her Word is functioning properly, which it wasn't earlier.
Cool.
Yeah, so
cool.
I put
just oh, sorry, I was just going to say just one
into...
thing to note.
Yeah.
The articles in there are also just fake articles for the time being. That if you go to those pages, they're just blank. So if you have any real articles that you want us to put on there, I should have prefaced this before. Let us know. Otherwise, we can just remove the placeholders. Yeah, I forgot to mention that the other day. Apologies.
No, that's fine. Thank you. That answers one of the questions. I thought it was just filler.
Okay.
So I've written some notes in Word and it's crashed. So I'm just going to open it up and kind of walk through it, and we'll see if I cover everything. So I'll share my screen. Obviously, one of our previous notes was about the font size, and we agree with you that now it's full screen. It's fine. So just thought I'd get that in there.
Oh, perfect.
Then, so generally, obviously the words are sitting with us, and we do have some issues with some of the words, and we know that that's in our remit rather than yours. So I'm trying to stick to just the actual functionality of the website at the minute. And
if you give us a document though and say like homepage, change this to this, we can get that all sorted for you.
We need to make sure that one of our other colleagues is aligned with it, which is probably the rate determining step, as we'd say in chemistry. So we will work on that, but I don't think it should limit us in terms of launching the website, because we can ultimately go in and alter it at the end of the day. So what one of the things is this button doesn't do anything. So I'm not quite sure why.
No. Hang on.
It happens on one of our other colleagues with web computers as well, so I know it's not linked to mine.
It's clearly a staging environment error. Let me give 1 second. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a staging environment issue. Yeah, Kevin's going to fix it.
Okay. But other than that, I think everything else was going to where it needed to go. So I'll start with the homepage. It was that one. Then I think this was all fine. Yes. And we need to change this to like UK reach again, but that's for us to let you know. With Why Choose Acre, we would like these statistics updated to the ones that are same on the stand, if that's all right.
Okay, yeah. Stats to stand. Stats. Yeah, that's fine.
And then we've obviously got ChatGPT.
ChatGPT,
yeah, that's the sort of legacy issue there. With the case studies, one of these, again, some of the wording we've used producer here, and then it says supplier, so we just need to make sure that's aligned. But this one, it needs a space between it.
Okay, yeah.
And then the other thing I wasn't sure was about what the categories are for the case studies and whether you can access them through any of the other web pages or it's just on the home page.
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, because you've got a limited pool of case studies, so again, correct me if I'm completely wrong, but I think from memory we had 6 case studies. Is that right?
Yep.
So at the moment, we don't really have enough to use categorization as a filter. So as we build these up over time, then that's going to become a built-in feature. But at the moment, it would be a case of like, filtering like just one case study, if that makes sense. So yeah, at the moment, I wouldn't do the filtering. But that being said, as and when we get more case studies built in, then we'll get those not only fed into the service lines, but also filterable as well.
Okay. Thank you.
That's right.
And yeah, I think all of those.
And also, your with the categories as well. If you, for example, that says global regulatory insights. If you want to change the category for that, just let me know what your preferred category structure is, and we can have it adjusted to that.
Okay.
Here we need to change this because it says for over 2 decades when we've only been operating since 2020. So we just need to tweak that. There's a R missing here from this one.
Okay, yeah.
I think all the others are all right. And again, some of these ChatGPT M dashes, but that's a known thing that pulls through. We know that these are fillers. So I think that was my question, is about, are these staying or is it just filler to just show what's going on? We need to be a bit more thoughtful about how we use compliance throughout the website. So that, again, sits with us. It's just to make sure that the business insurance doesn't have a hit of it. These open onto generic sites. Have we given you the details you need to link it, or is that still missing?
I maybe haven't. I'm just a complete idiot. So if you could resend those, please. Apologies if you did send it in. As I said, like I've messed up or Christine has messed up. Just please resend it through, and I'll make sure that's done correctly.
LinkedIn action. And then the privacy policy obviously hasn't got anything because that's to come from us, which is on Craig's radar. But all of this pulls through. When you click on stuff, it's doing what we want it to do. Calendly, that sits with Craig to set up. But if we're going to use it, we need to get it set up soon, really. Privacy policy calendar about how this menu setup.
Yes.
This follows our current website structure, doesn't it? I think so.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, we can probably just drop contact out of the top menu because you've already got the call to action at the top right.
Okay.
It's up to you whether you want it. Kept the same or not.
I would default to what you think here, as to what looks best.
Yeah, I'd probably just drop contact out. Yeah, and then if anything, with insights, because you don't really have a lot of insights at the moment, you could even put insights as a drop down underneath about. Because at the moment we don't really have a lot of articles, so it's not worth like making a deal out of it, if that makes sense. Or alternatively, you can just relegate it to the footer where we don't really have any insights at the moment.
What do you think, Craig?
I think insights, I presume that's the stuff where we've done blog posts and stuff.
Yeah.
The idea is that we want to try and do those on a much more regular basis going forward. So perhaps whilst I understand it looks a bit poor today, I'm hoping that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like everything we do now, it's not like you're not trapped with this. Like if you want to change things later down the line, just let me know. It's fine. It's no problem. Like it takes us like I don't know, like 10 or 15 minutes worth of work to put it back in the top menu. So like don't what's the word I'm looking for? Like don't put yourself through it for 3 months because you think later down the line it'll become useful. We can just remove the first 3 months, and when you're ready, we can just put it back up there.
Okay.
And then one thing as well, as we build up the case studies, is to have case studies go into the top section as well. And so yeah, that's one thing that I would recommend.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say is the top menu is a bit short if we've only got 2 things up there and we get contacts off it and insights off it. We've then only got about and services. Does that not look a bit daft?
Or the other word is precise. So that people come, they just, what else they need to look at other than your services and about the company. I mean, try it. I'll have this done. What time is it now? It's 3:15. Maybe today, if not tomorrow, for you. So then you can just check it, and then you can, if you say, I feel it's a bit sparse, then we could just add things back in. Alternatively, what we could do is because you have 6 case studies, that's more than what you have for insights. Is we could just move case studies to the top section for now. So you go about services and case studies. So you can fill it out a little bit more if that's better for you.
I kind of like that idea. What are your thoughts, Natasha? I think the idea of having the case studies accessible via other pages is quite good as well, because at the moment you have to go back to the front page to get them, I think, don't you?
I think probably because we're quite sparse, it's almost possibly lacking a bit of credibility. So I guess if we do have case studies up there, people can see they do use us and trust us. It's not just us like playing our own trumpet.
Yeah, the only downside is where it's 6 case studies in your industry. Is that enough evidence there?
It's some evidence, but I mean we're also bound by the fact that we work in a fairly confidential environment as well. So I don't know what our larger competition do, but it's usually pretty sparse on what they say they've done for people, because there's a kind of protective layer that they've got to be careful of.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts, Natasha, but I don't know. I mean, how many do Sagentia put up?
I couldn't say, but I think they are focusing more on the breadth of service. So their case studies have been focused on the kind of ones where innovation and everyone supported it.
Yeah.
And I don't think ERM and Exponent actually put much up. And Blue Frog, I don't think puts anything up, or even Knol. I think it's because a lot of what they do is very similar, so it's can't really showcase the breadth with the same case study over and over again.
Yeah.
Why don't we take it to think about for an hour or something, and we'll send you a note before the end of the day, because it's then it'll give you a bit of time. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. One thing to bear in mind as well is sometimes ambiguity is better. And so what I mean by that is, let's say I go onto a service page, and let's say on one of the service lines, you've got actually 2 clients you did that service for, you've got 1 client you did it for. Let's say you've only got 1 client you did that service line for. What you can say is on that service page, it's like, oh, recent client, and then where you just got the 1, they're like, oh, this is someone they recently did the work for, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. At that point, they think that's someone you recently did the work for, not they have 1 client in that service line. Whereas if you have a case study page and they click on it and they see you've only got 6 clients, then they're like, oh, they haven't, like, it makes you feel smaller, if that makes sense. Whereas if it's just you're only showing the case studies like recent clients, then it makes you feel bigger, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, just bear that in mind. In terms of business, then, go on.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a think about it. Let's press on with our comments, Natasha.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
No, that's absolutely.
So I'll go to this page. When you go through this, scroll through this, it comes back with strategic regulatory consulting. So I was hoping we could.
The loop doesn't close properly. Okay, seen. All right. Service lines, reloop.
And then for representative services, we've only got 1 page for UK rep. I think another page was sent.
Okay, let me check the Figma. 1 second. Figma.
So I mean, this page is going to be very similar to the UK page, but it was, I think Craig wanted them separate because it was all about the helping to embed things in SEO.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, I'm just loading up the Figma. I just need to see whether my developers have messed up or. So I've got other services, I've got representative services, and I've got chemical stewardship support. So 2 separate services.
Yeah, I think this came through from Craig after the last chat.
Yeah.
We discussed about how to.
Okay, yeah. So let me yeah, if you send it through to me, I'll have it designed today and then I'll have it developed today as well.
I mean,
because I've got 5 for regulatory strategy, I've got 3 for registration, I've got 3 for consortium and data management, and I've got 2 for other services.
So it was, just so you know, you possibly missed it because we were in a bit of a rush at the time. It was the same email as which I sent you the new stats on. There was also an attached EU only representative page as well.
All right, 1 second.
So I've just sent it again, but it did come to 15th on the 4th.
Yeah, potentially I made a mistake there and I forwarded it across to Max for the stand design opposed to Nimat, who was doing the page designs.
Yeah.
1 second, let's wait for it to come through.
Well, in fact, I possibly sent it to you on the 2nd of April, but it also came to
clearly. Yeah, no, clearly I'm an idiot, and I just misread the email. And the good thing, if you CC in Christina on everything, she's like she just catches every detail, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas
Understood.
what I do is I like read emails and then I forward it across to Max or whoever I think it's for. Because usually I'll be in a meeting and I'll just like pass things on. So clearly I've messed up there, so I apologise. But I'll get that done for you today. And yeah, I'll have that developed most likely tomorrow. So it should be added to the stationery by like tomorrow close of play.
And just to be awkward on this one, we also wanted to use the acre green mark rather than the orange mark.
For what? The logo?
Yes. Just on that page.
So just possible. On this, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So just on this page, the logo with the green mark appears.
Yep.
Okay. All right. No problem.
As in to differentiate it from the UK service.
Yeah. That's fine. Okay. So let me just do this. And just to confirm, this falls under other services, right?
It falls under only representative services,
which I think was the other.
Yeah, yes. So I've got other services, which so I've got on other services, I've got representative services, and then I've got chemical stewardship support. So this one, is this a sub-line of representative services, or is it a standalone service?
So representative service, it's just there's a UK option and an EU option. So essentially, they offer the same thing but in different jurisdictions. So it would go into representative.
Let me share my screen with you then. So let me. All right, so can you see this?
Yeah.
So this is the page that we currently have designed. With this new page coming in, does this need to, on this page, do we need to call out a section to point towards the EU representative services?
Yeah, that would be great.
This is all good. Or what we can do is you just change this to UK representative services, and then you just have another service line for EU representative services, so two separate sales pages.
Well, whichever works best. I mean, I'm happy to. I mean, really, the wording that we put together is identical in its format, apart from we've changed it from UK reach to EU reach and things like that. So it's specific to the EU.
Okay. Now, in your target market, when someone is looking for this service, do they come to someone specifically to do UK or to EU, or do they come to someone for representative services and then they just happen to need UK or EU, if that makes sense?
I actually wonder if we should put only representative on there, because that's what they will search.
Yeah. So when you would look for a specific service in a jurisdiction. So if I was an EU company and I wanted to sell in the UK and I didn't have a legal entity there, I would look for UK only representative service, and vice versa. So if I was an American company wanting to sell in the EU and didn't have a legal entity, I would look for EU only representative services.
Okay, in which case then I think you're best off doing it as two separate sales pages. So rename representative services to UK. Again, maybe you correct me on the word in here. UK representative services, and we do the other one as EU representative services. You have two separate sales lines there.
Yeah, I think we do need to slip in that only.
Yeah, we will
there as well.
Yeah. Okay. So give me the different wording for UK then, and then the EU wording. That will be the same as what you sent me on the document, right? Or do you need to change that as well?
I think that, let me double check what I sent you. Opening. So yeah, I think it's yeah. Thank you, Natasha. Yeah, it does say EU only representative. It doesn't say services. It just says EU only representative, but you could say services after that.
Okay.
On the document.
Yeah, the services bit is neither here nor there. It's just if it says only rep, anyone will know what in our industry will know what that means.
Okay. All right. No problem. Okay, so I'll have that page designed, and then we will get that developed tomorrow. Just trying to think anything else I need to cover on that. Let me just get now on this right now. Can you design? Okay, fine. Working on that now. All right, cool.
Then I think that was it, and all of our other comments were largely based around the wording that we're still working on. So
okay.
The other thing that actually you say what you're going to say, and then I'll introduce this next.
Okay, I was going to say, do you have a date in which we want to go live on?
I think if because we will do a little bit of work on the wording as well, but I think if we can go live, let me just pull up the calendar wherever it's gone.
Because I'm away the 12th till the I'm away 6th to the 12th.
So if we could go live, probably no later than the 18th. Is it better to go live Monday or Friday?
Whenever you want. It makes no difference in reality.
So I mean, basically, we want a little bit of time. So if you can get us everything you've got, and then we'll go through the words, and then we can launch it sort of the week after you get back, or sorry, the week when you get back, either late that week or the beginning of the week after. That will be just in time for us to go to Chem UK, which will be on the 20th.
Yeah, like honestly, whenever works best for you, we can do. Even though I'm away, my team can still launch it in my absence, but I'm just a bit of a control freak, and I like to be the one to do it. So that if anything goes wrong, like I just always know how to fix things, if that makes sense. So yeah, but they're probably more qualified than me, in all honesty with you. But yeah, it's just with every client, I like to make sure that I'm available in case they ever need me or whatever it is. But it's entirely up to you. Whenever you want to launch, we can get it sorted for you.
Well, we'll aim for the 14th/15th.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know, and then let me know a time that you want to do on those days, and then I'll get that booked in for you.
Super.
Magic. All right. In the meantime, what do you want me to send the page across to you to review before it goes into development, or are you happy for me to put it straight into development, the new EU page? So I mean, it's going to largely look exactly the same as the other one because you said the wording is pretty much the same. So
yeah, but I put it straight into development. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then just on the case that
I was just going to say, so Craig's obviously mentioned about the subscription service, and the detail still needs to be worked out a little bit. But something that would be helpful is to understand how to add this into the website. So we've kind of had a chat about this, and it's probably like a bit of a two-stage thing where we just kind of focus on getting the website live and making sure it is available for Chem UK, but then there needs to be wider thought about the subscription from our side as to how we want to interface with our clients. But I guess Craig has two separate questions in the fact that do we want to mention anything about the subscription service on our website at the minute? for when it goes live, even just if it's a banner or have like its own page. But then had also mentioned about possibly hosting almost like a portal where people could log in and view the documents that they get or whatever it is that the subscription offers you. What are your thoughts?
Okay, all right. A couple of different ways to tackle it. So first things first is this subscription. Does it give access to all of your services, but they just pay like a monthly fee, or is it they only get select services within that subscription?
Yeah, it's basically what we're offering is a kind of regulatory update newsletter or articles which we can, potentially do via PDF and email, or preferably via the website, so they can log into a page and look at it. But we'd also give them the chance to ask us questions directly, either via the website or via contacting us via email for a sort of regular fee. But yes, you're right, it's a subscription service that will allow them, either they can choose their level, or they can either access just the website, regulatory updates. They can ask us a certain amount of questions, and then like the next level up is they can ask us a certain amount of questions and they get a small reduction in our standard fees if they give us a bigger project.
Okay. You're kind of trapped between almost like a membership scheme and then a subscription model, if that makes sense. And so typically, I'll give you context, for example. A membership scheme would typically go on something like, you'd have it as like an about drop down where it's like, oh, join our membership rewards and you get access to our newsletter and blah, blah, for only this set amount fee. But then on the flip side, you've kind of got it positioned as a kind of like a service subscription model, because you have those where they can ask you direct questions, if that makes sense. So for me, like just initially hearing it, I don't think the proposition is structured correctly, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And maybe it's just my idiocy and I'm not getting it correctly. A newsletter, like, how valuable is a newsletter to these individuals? Normally that's typically a marketing tool that you give as like a freebie to like draw people in. So then they're like, oh, for example, again, forgive me, I don't know the chemical regulations, but say something comes out tomorrow, you put that on the newsletter and it's like, this new chemical regulations is affecting businesses that do X, Y, Z. And of course, if I'm on that and my business does X, Y, Z, then I see that and I'm like, oh, you've given them a breakdown of what this affects, how it affects, within the newsletter. I'm then like, oh, I don't know how to fix that issue in my business. Then I contact you, and then that kind of upsells them into service line posts. And typically that's what newsletters are used for. I don't really know. And again, maybe it's your industry is completely different, and I'm an idiot, but I don't know how much people would want to pay for a newsletter, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
then in terms of, go on.
I was just going to say, what we're offering definitely needs to be fleshed out a little bit more, but it's really interesting to hear you talk about membership versus subscription, because it almost puts it into a little bit more context for me, because I agree that a membership sort of level of something would be you get the newsletter and the subscription service is more sort of like on-demand access to regulatory insights.
Yeah, so the subscription is almost like you only put a lawyer on retainer, and then you then get access to that lawyer, which I think is a good service offering that we can do, where it's kind of like they're almost retaining your service on. You can have it almost like, for example, let's just say, for example, for one of your regular services, it's like 10 grand to access that service, whereas they can be on a retainer for, I don't know, £500 or whatever it is. They then get 1 to 2 questions a month or whatever it is, plus they would then get a 5% discount on every services that they take out. So it's kind of like entry level for people where they don't need a full blown service line, but they might just need 1 or 2 pointers a month or course or whatever it is, which they would get for that bunch. Because it's kind of like an entry level product that you can give to the lower level companies, and then you still save your premium consulting offerings to proper companies, if that makes sense. So maybe, I don't know, that's kind of how I envisioned it in my mind. But again, you know your business better than me.
No, I think we're actually talking in very similar terms. It's interesting to hear your thoughts about a newsletter. And then the newsletter is, and perhaps we do need to have a sort of free version, because at the moment we're trying to sell a service at the moment called as you know, which is kind of horizon scanning, looking forward and what's changing in all kinds of places around the world. And we kind of offer this already for an industry group, but they're scaling back because of the cost. But literally, we can monitor, every jurisdiction in the world, as long as this service that we pay for to access, and then we interpret, is picking it up, which it largely does. So we're producing 60, 70, 80-page documents twice a week at the moment, but that's going to get cut back. So we can make it incredibly detailed, but I don't want to have to do that on a regular basis. But there is something in there where people could say, can you check this particular aspect of the business for us on a regular basis? So they will get a choice, if you like, of 4 or 5 different things that we can monitor for them. And basically we would then put that behind a paywall, but maybe we do need to put some kind of free version up there as well.
No, I think what you described is very different from a newsletter. That's a customized monitoring service, which that's very important. That's a genuine service. I think maybe it was my misunderstanding, but positioning it as like a newsletter is as I said, I would use newsletters for if there's businesses that are going to be at risk because of industry legislation or whatever it is, then you put that out and then they're like, oh no, rubbish, this is going to affect my business, I need to get consulted on this. But then what you're describing there, that's like a bespoke service where it's like, I'm in XYZ part of the chemicals industry. I'm going to get affected by these 3 issues. You're going to update me if any of those issues come to light, and then we can act on it. That's a very different service to like a newsletter, I'd say. So potentially newsletter is the wrong word that we're using here. But I definitely say like bespoke monitoring, or horizon scanning is also a good term to use. Like they use it a lot in the financial services market. But I think that's a value. I peg that as a service. You have a subscription model for the horizon scanning where we tailor our scanning specifically to your niche within the market, whatever it is. I think that's a very valuable subscription service, and you can then include within that as well. You also get 1 to 2 hours consulting time, however you want to phrase it. And so for them, again, that's like your entry level product, which then upsells into your other products, because if they get the 1 to 2 hours consulting, and you say, this is how it's going to affect your business because this is coming through that affects shipping or whatever it is. Then they go, right, how do I fix that? And then you say, well, to fix it, this is actually the service line that we would sell to you, blah, blah. And I don't even think I'd even offer them a 5 or 10% discount or whatever. I would just package it as a different product. Because I think if you cheapen yourself a little bit, if you're doing you get a 5% discount or a 10% discount, I simply have you're doing them a favor by providing the service. This is a valuable service. And then once you flagged an issue for them, here's how we can fix that issue for you. That's how I did a value proposition on it, that you check potential issues that are going to prop up, opposed to the traditional service where they have an issue and they need to hire you to fix that. You're preemptively seeing if there's any issues that's going to affect them, and then you come and say, listen, these issues are going to affect you, here's how we fix it. And then it's up to them whether they engage you on how to fix it, which they probably will, or they then go and find another consulting firm to fix that issue. But in reality, the subscription model is actually going to be really good for marketing, in a sense that you're almost sourcing work for yourself if issues come up, and that's almost the joy and benefit of it. So with the subscription model, I almost being, and again, like this is me thinking back for like 5 minutes, so probably flesh it out a bit more if I did a deep dive on it, but almost the subscription model as you don't really want to price it too high because it's going to feed you lots of work. So you almost have it as like a low entry, that entry level product, and then you're just hoping and praying that issues prop up in their industry, because then you can upsell them on your service lines, making the real money. So yeah, that's how I'd sell it anyways.
Yeah, no, that's really, really interesting. We talked about sort of offering this sort of regulatory monitoring. I did call it a newsletter, which put you probably anti, or it was a poor description of what I'm trying to talk about. But we had sort of talked about offering this ACRE 24, which would be 2 hours a month, or ACRE 48 service, which, you know, the silver, bronze, the bronze being just the newsletter. And if you wanted, you know, you could have this sort of low-level clinic, or sorry, high-level clinic. What do we do about this? Well, you know, where do we find this, or what happens about this? In a 2 hours a month, and you know, the concept was probably to charge £250 for the monitoring service. Probably, I don't know now, was it about 500 for the 24, and then, you know, probably 700 for the 48, something like that. So I think I mean, perhaps we don't need to include the reduction in there as well, but it was just what can we put in the offering to make it look good. But it's good to get your feedback on that. And so you definitely think this is what we're talking about here is a subscription service, or did you think it was membership?
But yeah, it's definitely a subscription service. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would have it as a subscription service line where this isn't a value add, because all of your other service lines, they come to you when they think they already have a problem or they think they need to be aware of something. This is preemptively flagging issues for them, which you then already have the solutions on. So I think it's a very valuable thing. Like, and it's low cost entry as well. So people will just tag onto us, better have peace of mind. These guys are experts. They're going to flag anything for me. I don't need to worry about our business per se. They will let me know if there's an issue, and if there is an issue, they're able to fix the issue for me. I think, that's the real beauty of it. It's kind of like hands off for businesses, and that it's almost like an insurance policy, what you guys are going to do for them, in that they can take out the hiring, and then if there is an issue, you let them know. Otherwise, they don't need to think about it.
Yeah, good. Okay, so back to our question: how do we put that on the website? What's the best way? You know, this is what we're trying to launch at Chem UK. Obviously, we've got some writing to do.
I would have it as a service line, a separate sales page, because it's another service what you guys are providing. As I said, the exact wording of the service I leave to you guys, but horizon scanning is pretty universal. Like, as I said, it's well defined within financial services. Again, like, I don't know for the chemical market, I presume it's probably the same. And it's a bit of a universal term. Everyone kind of knows what that is. And then I just really drill down on the real USP of it, and also back up the USP of that. Not only is it preventative action, but if you do flag something that affects their business, you already have the solutions on how to fix those in-house. So it's not like you get a lot of horizon scanning companies that flag the issues, but they don't have that consulting arm to be able to fix the issues. So the fact that you've kind of got that all in one place, you build those trusted relationships, you understand the inner workings of the businesses, etc. So I'd push that as a product, that you guys, if you do find an issue, you already have the solution to the issue. And then maybe come up with some examples. Again, I can't really any off the top of my head, but if X legislation changed, it may require X service line. Like, give some examples of how that would play out, so that people could see that, and then they could instantly relate and say, like, oh, if this did actually happen, then we know that's a potential issue in our industry, whatever it may be. And you're able just to reframe the fact that you have these service lines available, and so they kind of feel like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like, if they do find an issue, they can fix it for me. That's what I do, anyways.
Good stuff. No, that's it's interesting to get your sort of marketing thoughts on that, because obviously that's not our expertise, but good to think about that. So we basically need to do some writing. Can we get a page added by Chem UK if we get the writing done?
Yeah. Well, it depends when you give me the writing, to be honest with you. But within a reasonable time frame. So if we say, let's say this, right? So when we start writing,
tomorrow.
Okay, so you think you can get me the writing by Friday?
Between us, we should be able to get you at least the first draft. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have that designed by, if you get to me Friday, Monday close of play, I have that design finished. Then Tuesday, that's in development. And then at that point, it should only take a day to get done. Now, I leave on the 6th, but Christina will update you to say it's done, check it. I'll leave very specific instructions on where to add the page in. But if you don't get me it by Friday, it can still continue. Just Christina will manage the process. But yes, the sooner you get to me, the better. Is the short answer. Especially if you want to launch like 14th, 15th.
Yeah. This is what we put on the stand. This is what we've got to have ready for them. So I mean, there's a couple of bits and pieces I need to think about in terms of, well, we can develop it, but we sort of need to think in terms of, do people sign up on the website? Do they not? Do they contact us? But these are things we can develop. I think just having a service line advertised is our primary initial point. And as you say, we can develop beyond that.
Yeah, we can take subscription payment. You can get them set up, so like a direct debit that they set up on the site. Alternatively, you can have it as a case that they just inquire, and then you have an initial meeting with them where you talk. To be honest, they probably want to talk it through before signing up for 750 quid a month. So it'd probably be best that they just get initial call with you guys. You walk them through the benefits of the Horizon, etc. Then you invoice them as however you want.
That's normal.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, there's a couple of bits and pieces there. We would like to be able to exclude our competitors accessing the prices. We'd also probably like to exclude individual emails as well. So they need to come from companies, but I guess if we're monitoring that physically by people contacting us, that's probably the simplest thing to start with.
Yeah. I mean, I would allow all email addresses to begin with, and then if you, I don't know, you contact one or two that gave a Gmail, and then you're like, oh, they were complete time wasters, then you can always just not reply to the Gmail ones moving forwards, or just we can ban it from the website. But we get some people, for example, that inquire with us, that they sometimes just give their personal email address opposed to the business one for whatever reason, and they'll be like properly established companies. Like I had one the other day, I thought it was a fake inquiry. So we get like 4 or 5 fake inquiries a week, and usually it's normally just Indian firms. They want us to send out a quote, and they can work out how much we're charging, and they get our pitch decks and all that good stuff. But it was actually a massive finance firm. He was like the managing partner of it. He gave his Gmail, and I ignored it to begin with, and then he sent me a follow up, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I said, oh, would you mind sending through like a work email address, just because we get scammers and all this good stuff. And then he replied, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. And another big finance firm in America. So yeah, like I wouldn't rule Gmails out. Like, you never know. Some people just do it for some reason.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, we've got a bit of homework to do. That's good. We also have probably some legal text, but again, I've got some templates we can use. But yeah, we just need to flesh this out and get it to you as soon as.
Yeah, I mean, we've got standard legal templates that we can give you if you want. If you just want us to put one of them up, it's up to you. However, the one you sent before, I think was a bit more curated. So I don't know if you've got more of a curated one that you need for insurance purposes. So yeah, just send it to me either way.
Yeah, I'll see what we've got. I do pay someone a subscription service who is a lawyer. So yeah.
There you go. Result. All right. Well, yeah. Give me everything that we need. Those small bits in the meantime, I'll get done for you. You're going to send me the stuff by Friday, the first draft at least. And then we're also going to get that page designed. He's working on it now. Realistically, I probably won't get it to you till tomorrow. That will go straight into development because it's basically going to look the same as the UK one. That's it really. The main crux of your things to change is content itself. So give me the content that we need to change it for, and then we'll get that adjusted.
Yeah. Just out of interest, do you think it is worth going into the different levels on this initial page? So there are options.
I would go into the levels, but I wouldn't put your price in there. I would just say like inquire. Unless you think price is a big driver on this product. So I guess potentially you'll know more after the event, because you'll speak to people and you'll see whether they turn their nose up at £700, £500, and you'll get a feel of it. But for the time being, you can always just have it just inquire, and then you pitch them in the meetings and see how it goes. Okay. That's if you're worried about competitive senior pricing anyway. If you're not too worried about competitive senior pricing, then just go ahead with it.
Yeah. No, we'd like to keep them off for as long as possible anyway, so at least so we get established.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, all good. So yeah, so many details that we need. CC Christina in because clearly I'm a moron, and then I will get the other bits sorted if you're right.
Never been in a meeting where someone's berated themselves so much. You're not I'm just
a very honest person, to be honest with you. Like clearly, yeah, I forwarded it to Max and I should have seen the attachment and read it myself. But that is
it's
the
life.
beauty of trying to work quickly.
We all do that.
Yeah,
but we're also send me the stuff. CC Christina, she won't mess up, and then I'll make sure it gets all done for you.
Great stuff. Yeah, we are last minute merchants, so we do appreciate your patience as well. So thank you.
Yeah, your stuff comes in really like sporadic. Like you just get like a new idea and it's like, okay, right, we'll do this now. But it's all good. Just send it to me, we'll get it sorted. Do you see the stands, by the way? Did you want any adjustments to the stands?
No, the stand has gone. I was very happy with that. I think the ones that we'd sent you previously were the only other ones that we had. So it's gone off. The next time we see it, it will be in the flesh. So cool. I mean, we checked spelling, we checked what we could. Thank you very much for getting it done last minute. Brilliant.
That's all right. No worries. All good. Yeah. Send the bits across to me. In the meantime, I'll keep you updated. What I'll do as well, I'll just send you the page once it's designed, even though it's going into development, just in case you see it and I don't know, you just want something changed, whatever it is. And yeah, all good.
Good stuff. Thanks, Sam.
Magic. All right, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.